The Hammons Family. When it comes to understanding traditional West Virginia music and the music of Appalachia, the Hammons family is the natural first stop on a deep, well-blazed trail that dates back to the 19th century. The depth and breadth of the Hammons family's musical legacy has been documented for 70 years, and there's no doubt that their expressive skills reach back even further. The family's connection to the state began with Jesse and Nancy Hammons, born in Kentucky in the 1830s, who moved east to what was then pre-Civil War Virginia. Around 1850, they lived on the border, cutting timber and floating logs on the Tug Fork, where they were caught up in a feud near the mouth of the Big Sandy. In 1970, Maggie Hammons Parker recalled hearing that there was a big bunch of 'em out on the bank, and into it they went. They was blood, and old Uncle John cut one man pretty near plumb right in two. Family members relocated often, but are strongly associated with Webster, Pocahontas, and Randolph counties. Several of Jesse and Nancy's children and grandchildren became known as singers and musicians. Their fiddle-playing son Eden was described in a 1906 newspaper story as a great musician and differentiated from his brothers, all avid hunters, by, quote, an artistic temperament that made a dreamer of him and detracted from his ability as a bear hunter, unquote. Another story has Eden in a fiddle contest, ready to play a two-part tune called The Falls of Richmond. Before his turn, another man played the same tune. Undaunted, Eden invented a new third part on the spot and won the contest. And in 1947, a professor from West Virginia University recorded 50 of his fiddle tunes. Eden's brother Paris fathered three well-known singers and musicians: Sherman Hammons, Burl Hammons, and Maggie Hammons Parker, whose voice embodies both the spirit and plight of Appalachia.
Oh, mothers, do get ready when this world comes to an end.
Another brother, Pete, was the source for several of Burl's fiddle tunes. A fourth brother, Neil, was the father of singer and banjo player Currence Hammons, whose musical circle included his wife Minty, a distant relative, and cousin Donnie Hammons Gum. The West Virginia Music Hall of Fame also recognizes banjo player and instrument maker Lee Hammons, whose exact family relationship has not been established. Beginning in the 1960s, several family members, then in their 60s and 70s, attracted a following of young people, many from distant locations, discovering traditional music for the first time. According to one writer, virtually everyone who became acquainted with the Hammons family during the 1970s and 1980s came away impressed, not only by their skills in music and narrative. Visits with the Hammonses had an immersive character, and for many, the experience was electrifying. This wider exposure began in Pocahontas County after their neighbor and local musician Dwight Diller met family members and began to document their music and narratives. Soon the visitors included Alan Jabbour from the Library of Congress, Carl Fleischhauer from West Virginia University, and a steady stream of other, mostly young, urban musicians and folk music lovers. Overall, the Hammons repertory comprises hundreds of instrumental pieces and songs, some reaching back to the 18th century, some with regional connections, and many fine examples of older British and American ballads. Fiddle fiddle tunes like Big Coyote and Three Forks of Cheat were played with irregular or crooked rhythms that add expressive power to solo performances. The family's repertory is well represented on published recordings. Eden Hammons from the West Virginia University Press, Maggie Hammons Parker, Sherman Hammons, Burl Hammons, and Lee Hammons from the Library of Congress and Rounder, as well as on special editions assembled by Dwight Diller. Currants and Minty Hammons and Donnie Hammons Gum from the Augusta Heritage Center at Davis and Elkins College. The Hammons music lives on through generations of old-time music fans and events like the Appalachian String Band Festival. The family's musical legacy is carried on by Trevor Hammons, great-grandson of Lee Hammons and fifth generation of this great musical family.
Here to present the induction of the Hammons family into the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame is the director of the West Virginia Humanities Council, Eric Wagner.
The Hammons family represent a unique phenomenon in the study and preservation of old-time music and folklore. It's rare for a single private family to have been so well documented and widely known, not only in their own right, but as part of an attempt to assemble a sort of snapshot of an entire region and era. Throughout the late 20th century, and even today, as you can see, the Hammons family recordings fueled increasing nationwide interest, moving professional documentarians and private citizens alike to seek them out in order to avail themselves of the Hammons' long historical memory and graceful preservation of so many cultural traditions. My own discovery of the Hammons family, like so many hundreds of others, came in the form of the Library of Congress and Rounder's record releases. I was living in Arizona at the time, going to school. I had been there for about a half dozen years, and I was starved for anything that sounded at all like home. Of course, the university library where I was stocked a copy of the Hammons Family Library of Congress recordings. I don't remember anymore how I found it or what I typed into the computer to call it up, but I do remember vividly how I felt the first time I heard the record. I was immediately back home in East Central West Virginia, where my own family is from. I heard my own family in the music, in the stories, and in the self-deprecating humor that shot through the entire recordings of the Hammons family. It was not only a restorative moment, but a revelation and an education, because I learned through that recording and the copious notes within it so much about the place where I was from that I hadn't known before. Alan Jabbour, founding director of the American Folklife Center, recorded the Hammons family for the Archive of Folk Culture's celebrated recordings of Maggie, Sherman, and Burl. He also contributed the entry on the Hammons family to the West Virginia Encyclopedia for us at the West Virginia Humanities Council. And Jabbour's assessment of the family's music is so descriptively perfect, I quote it shamelessly here. The Hammons family's instrumental music includes a distinctive regional repertory of fiddle tunes forged on the early Appalachian frontier, as well as a banjo repertory, both picked and downstroked, of later vintage. Their singing tradition ranges from ancient British ballads through hundreds of American ballads and songs. All their music reflects a striking cultural synthesis, combining the artful irregularity and treble tension of the ancient British solo style with other Appalachian elements of Northern European, African American, and Native American origin. It's fitting that a family renowned for such deep cultural knowledge should continue to teach listeners even today. It's a great honor to welcome to the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame the Hammons family. Here to accept the award is Trevor Hammons.
I'd like to say what a great honor it is to accept this from my family, the Hammons family of Pocahontas County. With Lee Hammons was my great-grandfather, and I feel like they'd be very proud of me for standing here today. It amazes me how recognized they are in today for something they did so long ago. And as long as I'm still here, their music will still be alive. So I really appreciate it.
The Hammons family roots still run deep, and you'll hear their influence in these next performances. Along with fiddler Jesse Milnes, paying tribute to the Hammons family is Trevor Hammons. And my co-host, Emily Miller, is going to sing one for Maggie Hammons.
I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready. I believe in being ready when this world comes to an end. Oh, sinners, do get ready. Oh, sinners, do get ready. Oh, sinners, do get ready, for the times are drawing near. Oh, the sun, it will be darkened. Oh, the sun, it will be darkened. Oh, the sun, it will be darkened when this world is to an end. Oh, the moon, it will be bleeding. Oh, the moon, it will be bleeding. Oh, the moon, it will be bleeding when this world is to an end. Oh, the stars will all be falling. Oh, the stars will all be falling. Yes, the stars will all be falling when this world is to an end. For there'll be them signs and wonders. Yes, there'll be them signs and wonders. There'll be them signs and wonders when this world comes to